come once again to discuss things.
I'm the king of the swingers, the jungle VIP. I reached the top and had to stop, and that's what's bothering me. I wanna be a man cold, stroll right into town, and be just like the other man. I'm tired of monkeying around. Oh, me too. I wanna be like you. I wanna walk like you, talk like you too. Yo, see, it's true. I ain't like me. Can learn to be human too.
Well, on that note, hi everyone. Welcome to this special episode of Geeky Gentlemen. If future Ian was able to edit this fast enough, you will have gotten 2 minisodes of Geeky Gentlemen today, everyone. So I hope you appreciate that. But please,
let's give him a big round of applause for future Ian.
Indeed, and let's give a big round of applause for returning to the show, Maxwell's Magic Reviews, who hasn't been on in like frickin' forever and a day.
Yeah. Last new thing that I filmed and posted was back in October of last year, so.
Yeah, with that really cool intro that I only got used like 5 times.
Well, I'll be finishing up the Cryptober reviews.
In October?
Yeah, they'll be posted in October, yes.
Okay, alright. Here's my suggestion for you.
Actually, finish it all?
Now.
Yeah.
Start filming now would be my best suggestion.
Yeah. This week I'm gonna be writing out scripts, so...
That's good. Cool. But Maxwell, what are we doing today on this Geeky Gentleman minisode that is the second Geeky Gentleman minisode?
Well, I believe we are talking about the film Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Which is one hell of a title.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, before we talk about this newest Apes film, why don't we discuss, because it is a sequel, let's go ahead and discuss our feelings on the past one?
Sure. So, to save time, energy, and saliva, we'll be calling these, Rise and Dawn, I think.
Or Apes 1, Apes 2, either one.
Yeah, stuff like that. And then we'll refer to the original occasionally, I'm sure, so we'll say original. But yeah, so we're gonna... Yeah, I think it is a good place to start with Rise. So when Rise was coming out in the theaters and everything, like when I first saw the trailers for Rise, I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna be so fucking dumb. There's no reason to do this. This is stupid. And the trailers totally missold that movie because all you see is like the fight scenes with the apes and the humans.
Yeah.
And then I saw it on demand after it'd been out of theaters, and I regretted that decision because it was so shockingly good.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw it, what year was that one released?
2011.
2011, so I will have seen it 2012, around Christmas at that point. My stepdad had it playing on TV, and I watched it, and I didn't even know it. I didn't even know that it existed until I saw it then.
Oh,
and,
yeah? Huh.
Yeah, it completely flew under my radar, but I really enjoyed it. I have a friend who hates the first one just because there's so little apes in that first film.
Well, I guess the biggest criticism I have with the first film is there might be too little apes or there might be too many. They really play fast and loose with the number of apes on screen at any time. Yeah. And they do that. That carries over to this movie as well, but it's slightly more forgivable since they have like a whole village in that, so you can assume there's a breeding population. But no, I was really I have this weird thing where if I am expecting not to like something, I usually end up enjoying it a lot more. Case in point with that is the 2011 Wonder Woman pilot. And this definitely goes really strongly in that direction too. I really was not expecting to enjoy Rise, and I loved it. and I had no idea how they were going to top it with Dawn, and I think they totally did.
Yeah. This really is a lot better. I really enjoyed the first one. The only problem I have with the second one, well, not a problem with me, but a problem that I know others will have, is just it's a lot of captions that you have to read. And I know, like, my 10-year-old self would have hated this film because of this. You know?
Yeah, and that's the thing, is, like, I normally do not like subtitles just because I feel like they distract from whatever's going on screen, but so much of this movie is done visually that I don't think you really need to read the subtitles to understand what's going on in the scenes.
Yeah. But if you're one of those people who just can't get past that, you're going to hate at least the first 30 minutes or the first third of this film. Because that's all it is at the very beginning. But it is a beautiful film to look at.
Yeah, I'm really in love with this film because they did so much motion capture to the point where you barely pay attention to the humans and you're just so invested in the apes. And you know me, I'm a CG guy, and I love that they're just totally going all out with it. And it's just all about, you know, the CG on screen. At least 2/3 of this movie, I can guarantee you, is not, if not 100% CG, then like 90% CG with like a real on-location shoot with some CG filling it in to make it look like old and dilapidated.
Yeah.
So that's something I was really impressed by.
Well, for me, I know most of the location stuff was probably green screen, because
Actually,
in
no.
the city with all of the aging of it with the plants growing off of the buildings, that has to be computer generated, you know?
That's the thing, is the way they shot this, and it's absolutely fascinating because they did a lot with the first movie too. Most of it's shot on location, but they just added the dilapidated look into it. So okay. It's really, really fascinating work that they did. So I was really impressed just in the visuals alone of this impressive movie. But it really says something that the visuals are one of the best things, but one of the things that you don't even really need to talk about.
Well, I was gonna say, I was going to compliment the film on the CGI on the buildings and stuff, but since most of it, if not all of it, wasn't CGI, I'm not gonna compliment it on that.
Well, it's so good, location shooting and CG addition, that you don't think it could possibly be real. So that is actually a compliment.
My only problem with CGI with this are the apes. The only ape that I really felt was actually there on set was the orangutan. The rest of them just still felt like I was looking at CGI. But
yeah, I agree with you to a certain extent. It was better when there was just them as opposed to when they were interacting with people, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. But
I really felt the same way.
But yeah, it really is for me just when compared to the original Apes films, you know, they had actual people on set, you know. That they didn't look realistic, but you knew they were actually interacting with someone really there.
Yeah,
you know?
And I mean that's the thing, is this isn't like the human actors were just talking to a wall. There was motion capture, which means there was a person there, and then they overlaid the model and stuff. But God, it was just so, like, I don't think you really, at least for me, I don't think I had that disconnect at all. It felt like the dude was actually talking to Caesar, and when, like, you know, at the end when he grabs his neck and, like, you know, pulls him close to him and everything, it felt 100% legitimate to me.
Well, once I got about halfway in, it wasn't a full Uncanny Valley effect for me, but once about halfway, I got used to seeing the CGI apes on the screen. But still, early on, I guess it's just me. I just kind of don't like seeing CG that much. Well, let me rephrase that. Good CGI is really good to see, and there's really good CGI in this. It's just, there's a lot of CGI nowadays, and I'd prefer to see practical effects, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I want to say something, but I'm not going to say something. If you want to know what I'm going to say, watch this week's, this coming week's episode of Geeky Gentlemen, which will be posted hopefully on Sunday. So, Maxwell, you get a mystery counterpoint.
Oh, okay. So you're forcing one more view count.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to know what I'm going to say, you're going to have to watch next week, or this coming week's episode on Sunday to know what I'm going to pick, and then watch that episode to know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
So there. But there should be a big fucking hint there for everyone that's curious. No, but I agree. There is a disconnect with CG, but honestly, I think that it's done so well that it really doesn't matter, and it doesn't really need to be focused on more than like story elements.
Well,
so I guess.
Well, talking about the story, it's a pretty damn good story,
right?
Yeah.
Find a way to top the last one. Well,
yeah.
I guess I will say one minor complaint. I'm really tired of seeing Obama in movies about the apocalypse's prologue.
Oh yeah.
Because he was in Pacific Rim and he was in this, and it's like, guys, quit using clips of Obama in your prologues about apocalyptic worlds.
Yeah.
It's not okay.
And I mean, isn't this one set 20, 30 years in the future from the last one?
10 years.
10 years. Okay. But still, the last one was set modern day, right?
Yeah, so
I mean, why not create a fictional president for that little scene, you know? Or use a different president.
Well, no, see, what they did is they pulled a clip of him when he was talking about that whole H1N1 scare a couple years back. And so if, like, this virus spread as rapidly as it seems to in the opening prologue thing with the, world and the airplanes travel thing.
Yeah.
Then I guess it makes sense that Obama would be there, but I still don't want Obama to be there because I'm tired of seeing, I'm tired of the right fundamentalists getting fuel for Obama being the Antichrist, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing political. It's just like, okay, come on, we got to stop putting Obama in the movies. There's never been a president in this many movies, an actual president.
Yeah,
it hasn't happened. While he's in office.
Yeah.
That little amendum there.
Because I think Reagan has Obama beat on films, right?
Reagan or Nixon, I'd imagine. Oh wait, that was a clever joke that went over my head for a second.
Yeah.
Ha.
I tried.
Oh, that was actually really good.
Actually, I really did like how they opened up with the
spread of the virus.
Yeah. Just really connected to the last one.
Yeah, I'm kind of of two minds about that. Because the last one, during Rise, my final thought as, Caesar and the apes run into the forest was, alright, this isn't really the rise of the Planet of the Apes. It's a couple apes escaping, and we get the reason for why they're intelligent in the, original movie.
Yeah.
But that doesn't show them rising. And then they start the animation with the virus spray, and I'm like, oh, that's fucking brilliant. And then this one opens with the virus spread, and I'm like, it's still really cool, and it's a really clever way to wipe out humans without having to have, an ape-human war where we would clearly defeat them hands down.
Yeah.
That was really clever. But I think the problem with it is the idea of a virus spreading, I don't think really lines up with a lot of the ideas in the original film, which is that we destroyed ourselves through war.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're kind of hinting that they might, say, humanity really finally finished itself off with a war with the apes, but to me that's not the same thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
so I think I know that this is a reboot continuity and all that, but I feel like it's kind of skipping over one of the big points of the original.
yeah.
And certainly it's doing interesting and good things in doing that, but I still feel like it's kind of missing some of the points.
Well, if we're ever going to see the future of the planet, if they have one of the Charlton Heston moments, instead of it being all about an anti-war film, basically, it basically has to go back to being anti-science. Because it was science who did this, and science as the enemy is kind of played out at this point, ain't it?
Yeah, it really is. You need to, like... It really needs something else to come in, because I guess, like, the line that always stuck out more to me in the original movie is not, you maniacs, you blew it up, you maniacs, but was Charlton Heston's little prologue monologue that he gives when he's in space and they haven't landed yet. And he says, "Tell me, does man still declare war against his brother?"
Yeah.
And that's something that's carried through big time. It's even a part of the apes' religion. There's only one animal that kills his brother.
Yeah.
That is man. And like that was such a fascinating idea. And, then you get to see that Charlton Heston was right, and he's horrified by that. And that was really interesting to me.
Yeah.
But I guess I just have a problem with this continuity kind of losing that message.
That does bring up a good point. Basically, there's 3 versions of Apes. There's the original, then the Tim Burton version, and then this version. I think we're both in agreement. Tim Burton's is at the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
So it really is which of the other 2 is the better. Now,
and
of course, since this series hasn't finished, maybe just going off of the first 2 original Apes film and these 2, which would be the better 2?
Well, like, here's the thing. The original Planet of the Apes is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
All of its sequels that are set in its continuity are piles of garbage that have little nuggets of gold in them occasionally. They're like the Star Wars prequels, if you will. So that they are completely unsalvageable. It's a lost game. We're leaving them behind to die, okay? I am never going to defend them. I haven't even seen them, but here's how bad they have to be. I've never heard anyone say anything good about them overall. It's always very specific things.
Well, of all of the original Apes, the 4th one, when it's set in like 1990 something, I believe it's Battle for the Planet of the Apes, where the apes have replaced dogs and cats. I think that is the second best to the original series. The first one, Planet of the Apes, obviously top of the list, but then I would put... it's either Battle or Conquest, I can't remember the name of it. But the 4th one, you know the one I'm referring to, right?
No, like I said, I haven't watched them because I've never heard anyone say anything good about them.
Well, I really enjoyed that one. I don't know.
I might have to at some point, just because I guess I am a masochist.
Well, here's the thing. Before I watched this latest Apes film, I rewatched everyone except for the Tim Burton movie. I watched all of those in order before going to the theater to see this latest one.
Gotcha.
So that's why it's still kind of fresh in my mind.
That's fair. I've just, like I said, I have no interest, and I wouldn't presume to argue for the prequels, and I don't think anyone can, or the prequels, to argue
the original?
That's how they... No, I wouldn't presume to argue for the sequels to the original, because in my mind they can't possibly be good, because after Charlton Heston, I don't think you can go very far with the series anymore. That's kind of the ultimate end of it, and I don't know.
Well, you see, that's the thing. You're seeing it as a Charlton Heston series, whereas it's actually a Roddy McDowall series, because he's the main male ape in all 5 films of the original. The same way that this new series will really be the Andy Serkis. I think I said his name right.
Actually, let me use that to get back to the actual movie, though, because I think we're just at a place where we're in disagreement, and that's fine. If you want to like something awful, that's completely up to you.
Thank you. I think.
So, Roddy McDowall, you said his name was?
Roddy, or...
Is it just me,
I think it's Roddy.
or... Is it just me, or does it look like Caesar's son looks like Roddy McDowall?
In the new one?
Yeah.
I'd have to see a picture of him again.
I swear to me, just like the one scene where the kid talked, I swear I could have like bet money that it was that it was the guy from the first movie that played.
So you mean the eldest son, not the baby, right?
Yeah, the eldest son.
Okay.
The one that gets scarred by the bear.
Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to find a photo.
Blue eyes.
Yeah. I see the photo now. Kind of, slightly.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's maybe just that they're apes or what, but I don't know.
Are you being racist and saying they all look alike?
Yes, all apes look alike, which is actually kind of like, I guess it's racist, but at the same time, I'm saying that all people look alike, aren't I? Ooh, evolution. Now we're on a hot button issue.
I don't know if I want to stay on this video with you, because you just said everyone looks the same. How racist! You are anti-human.
Everyone looks the same. You racist. Wait, how? What? No. But anyway, let's get back to Dawn though, just in of itself. So like, I really did love this movie, and I feel like I'm being more negative on it because my biggest complaint is obviously that I don't feel like the overall message of it. I guess part of the message is still the same, that apes, that people are people, and people in the sense of having a mind, if as it were, the ability to think abstractly, and that holds true in the original film. It holds true in Rise and Dawn, right?
Yeah.
And that's the big thing of Dawn, is that the apes are just like humans. There's no difference whatsoever. And one scene that I wish we could see, as I've been thinking about this, and it's completely superfluous. It's totally already been established through subtext, but damn it, hammer it in. I don't care. I want to see one of the apes look at that famous image of the chimp that slowly starts standing up more until you get to modern man. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I want to see an ape look at that and react to it with anger and tear it apart.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't need that, because that's the entire point. Yeah. The entire point of that scene is the entire point of the last movie here. But still, it would be cool. So the point of Dawn and part of the point of the original totally line up. Mm-hmm. But the way in which man destroys himself is, I feel, a very important part of the original that's kind of being written over, and I'm not comfortable with that. That's my biggest criticism, and I don't think you can have much of an answer to that. It's it kind of is, but we don't know if it's totally overwritten yet or not. So
yeah.
That being said, my other major complaint, and then I'll start saying only positive things.
Okay.
This movie is humorless, and I know that there are 2 scenes that are supposed to be funny, but they're not funny at all because there's way too much damn tension in them.
Which ones?
The scenes where Koba acts like, a stupid monkey.
I actually chuckled at those.
Yeah, I mean, like, I got that there's supposed to be a little bit of a comic relief element, but, like, he's either about to die in the first time he does it, or he's about to kill two people the second time he does it. So there's too much tension to really, like, laugh at it fully, I think. So I had a hard time with that, and, like, you know, there's comedy in Rise, and there's plenty of, like, subtle comedy and not so subtle comedy in the original, you know? Where I come from, only kids like you wear beards. And, you know, and there's, like, that scene in the trial where the three orangutan judges go, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. And that there's subtle little funny things like that. And at a certain point, I think you need to acknowledge that what you're seeing on screen, though it's taking itself 100% seriously, and I'm fine with that, they need to acknowledge in some way that it's just a little silly. Because I was watching in particular the battle scene probably didn't work for me in the full effect that it should have. When the apes take the human city and, like, you know, there's the fire in the tank and everything.
Oh, that tank scene, though.
I mean, it's really cool, but at the same time, it's a fucking monkey driving a tank, dude.
Cool. That 360 shot was really beautiful, though.
Oh, it was, and I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to deny that the scene itself was really well done, but I can't fully be invested in it because it's just, what I'm seeing is just a little too silly, and they are not acknowledging that there's something silly about it in any subtle way at all. And I think that's my second biggest problem. There needs to be just a little bit more comic relief here and there to, like, you know, let you know, okay, yeah, we get that it's silly, but just keep going with us anyway. So what are your thoughts on my two major complaints? Then we can start, like, praising this movie.
I kind of agree with you. One complaint that you didn't make that I had was in the trailers to this. Did you see the trailers before watching it?
I saw, like, the very first teaser trailer, which, you know, really wasn't much. And otherwise, no, I didn't watch any of the trailers.
Well, the big thing that the trailer gives away is that Caesar finds the video camera.
Oh, yeah.
That was... Whoever made the decision to have that in the trailer is a moron.
I agree.
Anyone who didn't see the trailer, that was a lot more powerful for them than it was for me, because I knew it was coming.
Definitely. Dude, I love that scene. That's one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
Yeah, but I knew it was coming. That's the problem.
Oh, man.
Although I do have to say this. In this film, I finally got the sign of the circle and the diamond. It finally struck me. It's the window. It finally hit me. And that's pretty sad, isn't it?
It's pretty obvious in the first movie.
Well,
in Rise.
I never caught it. That's the thing.
He, like, draws it on the wall and everything.
Well, I knew he drew it on the wall, but I didn't know what it was referring to.
And then you saw that it's in the original.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, you watched all the movies before this one, so it was fresher in your mind, I guess. That makes sense. And yeah, I love the scene with James Franco's cameo, even though it's, like, you know, really just leftover footage from the first movie. Actually, here's a nitpick I have with a lot of movies, and this one had it, but it's in the opening credits, so I can forgive it. One of my things that I hate in movies, it only happens in sequels, really, is when they show, like, what's supposed to be first-hand account video of stuff that happened in the first movie, but it's clearly just that scene scene from the first movie with a bunch of, like, shit added over it. I hate that, and I think it's crap, and I think just fucking re-render your damn scene, or just shoot something else. You got most of what you got the rest of the cast there anyway. So, like, that always bugs me.
Most scenes are shot at least 2 cameras, so you should still have the original second camera shot to work with.
And, like, with the apes on the bridge, I mean, they're already, you know, mocapped and everything. You just got to change your CGI camera angle. That's it. I do CG. That is the easiest thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
You hold down the Alt key, and you hold down the click button, and you drag, and that's it. That's all you have to do. Reset your render settings, and there you go.
And you see, this is why you and I are not making movies.
Exactly.
Because we actually think about things.
Yeah, and like that scene just that stuff bugs the crap out of me. This is in the intro credits, so I'm not really into the movie yet, but most of the time when I see that, it takes me right out, and that bothers me.
Yeah.
This movie does it in a forgivable way, because it's video from the first movie, but it's video that we only get clips of, and it's like little bits of, and this is actually a longer portion of that video that we've seen before, yes, but it's not like fully, we didn't get to see it by itself before. There was, James Franco narrating over it and everything.
Yeah.
So that was really brilliant, I thought. Love that scene. Okay.
So it's time to start gushing about the film now.
I mean, where do we start? Alright, so besides the James Franco scene, which I just said is my favorite, let's go with favorite scene then.
You know what? Favorite scene, I don't have one specific scene, but the scenes with Gary Oldman.
Really?
Yeah, I loved those.
That's really interesting, because I've watched a number of reviews for this already, which is, I guess, why I'm talking more, is because I've got all this in my head, and I've been wanting to talk about it anyway. I've watched a number of reviews for this, and a complaint I keep hearing is that Gary Oldman doesn't have anything to do in here except for the scene with the iPad. And I'm kind of with you more. I'm like, I really enjoyed those scenes with him. I thought he was really, relatable character. Maybe a little rash at the end, but, people just got enslaved by monkeys.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
the one thing that I was thinking throughout this film was someone is going to, once this comes out on DVD, take clips from this and mix it in with the Batman Nolan films. That's all I was thinking about through the Gary Oldman scenes, going, yeah, this will be awesome in a fake trailer for another Nolan film.
That's good. I really like the Gary Oldman scenes. I think my favorite scene, though, is when Caesar climbs the skyscraper.
Oh.
And has that conversation with Koba before they fight.
Yeah.
Where it's like, apes follow Koba now. Caesar is weak. And he looks at him and goes, Koba weaker.
Yeah.
It's like, slapped him in the face. Yeah. Oh, that was such a good scene. Andy Serkis just totally sells that shit.
I just remembered, if we're talking one specific scene, the scene where the power comes back on and they're at the gas station.
Nah, that was cool.
That's probably my favorite scene of this.
I can dig it.
Well, you better.
It's a shorter scene. I kind of... I don't know. Maybe the song killed that for me a little bit. I enjoyed it. It was a nice scene. It didn't really stick with me, I guess. Yeah. Alright, so there's favorite scenes down. Favorite character? And let's discount Caesar, because that's a little too much.
And if we discount the Gary Oldman character, because I really enjoyed him. I don't remember the guy's name, but he was the guy smoking the cigarillos, and he had the handgun in the toolkit.
Oh, that asshole.
Yeah. Well, I just remember, because about a month before I saw this, I had binge-watched Oz, the prison show on HBO, and he was one of the main leads from that, and I just like him as an actor.
That's cool. I mean, he totally sold his part. I think the character's a douche.
Well, yeah, but still.
For me,
also, he was the only smoker on there, so I have to side with the only smoker.
After the apocalypse.
Yeah.
They still have cigarettes.
Well, cigarillos, there is a difference.
Oh, okay. For me, it was Maurice. I really like Maurice.
Yeah.
He's just such a cool dude. I guess dude's kind of a species-neutral term.
Well, I mean, you've already been racist twice throughout this, so who cares now, right?
Right? No, I really like Maurice, especially the scenes that he has with the one guy's son.
Yeah.
And, like, reading the comic book and stuff. That was really cool.
Yeah. It really was a beautifully filmed movie and really well acted as well.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. I'm trying to think if there's anything like else major I want to cover. You got anything that you wanted to talk about in specifically?
One thing that they did that kind of got to me was how they bookended the film with a shot on Caesar's eyes.
One zooming out, and one zooming in.
Yeah,
that was clever.
Well, yeah, it just seemed a little, but because this film started off where the last one ended, I'm just thinking if they're doing the same thing with the third one, we're gonna see another shot of the eyes zooming out. It just felt like there's no way for the next film to open like this film opened. Although the next film will kick ass, whatever they do with it. Which...
Yeah, I really can't imagine how you screw up this franchise at this point.
Well,
we'll get Tim Burton back.
Yeah. Actually...
just to fuck with Ian. Oh, you don't think we could fuck up this franchise? Well, screw you, sir.
Yeah. But this film does kind of leave on a cliffhanger. Because, the army is supposed to come into the city. So the next film should be a lot more fighting.
Well, maybe, because, I think what they might do is just skip to the end of the war. As opposed to, the events going on during it.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm still waiting for the apes to start wearing clothing.
I don't know if we're going to get that as... I suppose technically they are to a certain extent. You had the nurses wearing, the shell things in front of their face.
Yeah.
So, I guess it depends on what you define as clothing. But I don't think clothing comes in until you get, walking upright and stuff. Because, you're dragging stuff on the ground otherwise.
Well, if they are going to start it near the end of the war... It would probably be an all-out war with all of civilization fighting the apes. In which case, a war against the apes and humanity, that would take maybe 30, 40 years, right?
I mean, it depends just how decimated humanity is by the end of this. I mean, we get the sense that there's more than one group of survivors. We know that much, because they say that there are humans that are genetically immune.
Yeah.
But you also got to remember that this film franchise is building at least towards somewhere around the original's intention, right?
Yeah.
Because you have the rocket launch in the first movie and everything.
Yeah.
Well, you got to remember in the original, humans couldn't talk.
Right. Yeah.
So what you might have is, since you've got a virus, even those that are genetically immune, the virus might get stronger.
Yeah.
And start not just not killing them, but maybe just retarding them.
Yeah.
Which would certainly be very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think an interesting place to go with the franchise is not necessarily toward the end of the war, but to the point where apes are in control of the planet, and chimpanzees, orangutans, all that shit.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of the point of the title, Planet of the Apes. It's the same planet.
Yeah.
Can you shut up the bird?
I'm sorry.
It's cool. I'm just it's so distracting.
It's
anyway,
Planet of the Parakeets.
Significantly less entertaining movie.
Yeah.
Be begging for subtitles in that bitch.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, I think a really interesting place to go would be not to the end of the war, but to where apes are in control of the entire planet, and Caesar's still alive, but he's very old, and he starts to get dementia. And that would be a reason why some of the laws that the apes say in the original are so frickin' insane compared to what he's actually been about in these two films.
Well,
and I think that would be a great tragic irony for the character.
That is, of course, if they're playing this as this here is what happened before Charlton Heston got there, if they're playing this all as prequel to the original instead of a reboot.
Well, what I think they'll probably do is they say it's a reboot, but what I think we'll do is eventually we'll get a film in this franchise that is essentially a remake of the Charlton Heston piece.
Well, we kind of had that with the Tim Burton one, you know.
No, because he fucked everything up. Yeah, but Tim Burton fucked everything up because he's got a Tim Burton everything.
Yeah.
One thing I would like to see is Fort Wayne in the next movie. Because Charlton Heston's character was from Fort Wayne in the original. So yeah, I would just enjoy that if at all possible. Because, why not? I deserve it.
Yeah.
It'd be cool. Honestly, the first movie should have been set in Fort Wayne. That'd have been awesome.
There was one good thing about the Tim Burton version.
What's that?
They actually cast Charlton Heston as the really, really old ape in that one. Mm-hmm. That was the only good thing about that.
Okay.
Sorry, I just had to say one small saving grace of that film.
Okay.
Now we can keep on.
Is there anything else you want to talk about? Do you want to predict the future for the Planet of the Apes franchise?
Well, I think at some point we will get to the place where the apes control the planet, because it will be the planet of the apes. Honestly, I think the big question is, will it be a trilogy, or will they do 5 or 6? I think that's the big question here. I'd like to see at least 5 of these in this universe. But the next film that comes out, it will kick ass. But I don't know. I think the next one really should end without having a cliffhanger ending.
Okay.
That really is the only thing that I would say about this next one. Well, and make it so that the apes actually speak English in the next one. Well,
we got to, basically, there's not much sign language in the last half hour of this movie.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I kind of like the sign language just because I thought it was really clever.
Yeah.
I guess the stupid nitpick complaint I have, besides the, using video from the last movie thing, that this is actually something that they, I guess, could have gone into, but, alright, so stupid, nerdy nitpick complaint. How do the apes learn pronunciation?
Huh.
Because you think about words like, I don't know, spoon. No, not spoon. Knife. How do they learn I can understand that they'd learn the spelling and the sign for knife. Perfectly acceptable. How would they learn to say knife?
Well, they'd either have to learn it from Caesar or from humans. And since there weren't any humans in the ape area, Caesar would have learned what a knife was and would have heard it because of the James Franco character in the first film.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of stuff like that. I'm very sure that James Franco didn't, talk about Aeschylus or something like that. Yeah. There's going to be plenty of words that the apes would have no idea how to pronounce. And even then, Caesar's going to pull every single pronunciation from his memory. Come on now.
Well, because in the original version they did keep humans as lab animals, as possibly slave labor. But if you think about it as they've been keeping humans that way for hundreds of years, the humans slowly lose their ability to speak. So the humans would be speaking these words, and the apes would... What's the old saying? Monkey see, monkey do?
I guess. I don't know. It's a stupid, nerdy nitpick complaint, and I guess you can explain it away, but it's still something I'm going to point out.
Yeah.
It's like douchey McNitpick.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do a score for Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. You remember how the scoring system works on Geeky Gentlemen?
Not at all.
Okay, so I'll go first. But you have to pick a noun related to the movie on a 5 scale, okay? So I'll go first to give you an idea.
Okay.
I give Dawn of the Planet of the Apes 4 out of 5 graffiti simian flu drawings.
Okay, that's gonna be difficult. Well, I know what number I would give it, but what words would I use? Well, at the moment I can't think of anything. You know what?
Just pick something generic.
I have one. I will give... Can you do 0.5s or whole numbers?
You can do 0.5s.
I will give this a 4.5 cigarillos.
Clever.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
So
I'll be here all week, folks.
no, you won't.
Oh.
I've invited myself onto your show, Ian. That's my Maxwell impression, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyway, so everyone, thank you for listening, though. Maxwell will certainly be back, and hopefully it won't be 6 months in between or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll have Maxwell back on again. And until next time, I'm the Philosopher.
And I'm the Magician.
And we are your Geeky Gentlemen. And we will be discussing